For years, the world has been told that electric cars are the future. Governments have banned gas engines, car companies are racing to electrify their fleets, and consumers are being nudged, sometimes even forced, into a battery-powered reality. Tesla, of course, was leading the charge. Elon Musk became the face of this electric revolution, promising a future free of oil, free of pollution, and driven by silent machines powered only by the grid. But what if that vision was incomplete? What if the electric future we've all been promised isn't actually the final answer? Because recently, behind closed doors in Japan, something happened that could change everything. At a secret meeting inside Toyota's headquarters, Elon Musk was shown something so powerful, so disruptive, that even he admitted it could kill the EV industry. And this is not just rumor. This is coming straight from Toyota, the largest car company on Earth, one that never rushed into full electric and might now be on the verge of pulling off the biggest comeback in automotive history. So what exactly did Musk see? Why is Toyota suddenly back in the spotlight? And could this secret engine really challenge the dominance of Tesla and the entire EV movement? Let's dive in. To understand why this is so explosive, we need to step back for just a moment. For the past decade, the narrative has been simple. The future is electric. Nations from Europe to Asia to North America started announcing bans on new gasoline and diesel cars by the 2030s. Automakers poured billions into battery factories, charging infrastructure, and software platforms. And Tesla was at the center of it all. With bold designs, insane acceleration, and futuristic tech, Tesla became not just a car company, but a symbol of progress. For years, no competitor even came close. The message was clear. Combustion engines were dinosaurs doomed for extinction. But cracks began to appear. Behind the glossy headlines about EV adoption, troubling questions were being asked. Questions about materials, infrastructure, and costs. Questions that governments, automakers, and even Tesla itself didn't always have answers for. And those cracks, they're exactly where Toyota saw an opening. Because while everyone else sprinted toward an all-electric future, Toyota quietly held back. They weren't convinced EVs were the silver bullet the world was being told they were. And now it looks like they might have been right. While the rest of the auto industry was in a full-on sprint toward electrification, Toyota seemed stubborn. Critics mocked them. Analysts called them outdated. Some even said Toyota was risking its entire future by refusing to go all-in on battery EVs. But Toyota wasn't being careless. They were being patient. Instead of chasing trends, they were building something behind the scenes. A technology so advanced that, if it worked, it could leapfrog everything Tesla has spent the last 20 years building. That project, a next-generation solid-state battery. Unlike the lithium-ion batteries that power Teslas and nearly every EV today, solid-state technology promised something almost mythical. Far greater energy density, meaning longer driving range. Faster charging times, potentially minutes instead of hours. Improved safety, no risk of runaway fires. And most importantly, dramatically lower costs once scaled. For years, this sounded like science fiction. Even Elon Musk dismissed it, calling it impractical and decades away. But inside Toyota's research labs, breakthroughs were happening. In late 2023, whispers began to leak. Toyota had successfully tested a prototype that could fully charge in just 10 minutes and deliver over 700 miles of range. Numbers that would make Tesla's flagship Model S look outdated overnight. And while most companies announce prototypes for headlines, Toyota did something unusual. They stayed quiet, very quiet. Which begs the question, were they waiting for the perfect moment to strike? Because according to insiders, Elon Musk himself was given a private demonstration of Toyota's prototype, and his reaction shocked everyone in the room. Elon Musk isn't easily impressed. For years, he's dismissed competitors, mocked traditional automakers, and doubled down on Tesla's dominance. But when Toyota engineers rolled out their solid-state prototype, insiders say the mood shifted. The battery cell was small, compact, and yet powerful enough to make every lithium-ion pack look outdated. In a controlled demo, it delivered blistering performance, nearly double the range of a Model S with a fraction of the charging time. According to whispers from that meeting, Elon sat in silence, studying the numbers. And then he said something no one expected. If this scales, it could kill the EV industry as we know it. That one sentence sent shockwaves through the room. Because if Musk, the loudest voice for the electric revolution, admits Toyota's technology could be disruptive, it means Tesla, and the entire EV sector, might be standing on shaky ground. And here, where it gets even more interesting, Toyota isn't just betting on solid state. They're working on a dual-track strategy that could completely blindside the rest of the industry. Most automakers chose one path. Tesla went all-in on battery EVs. Hyundai and Kia chased hybrids, then pivoted toward EVs. Ford and GM scrambled to electrify pickups and SUVs. But Toyota, they played a different game. Instead of committing to a single strategy, they quietly built a two-pronged attack. On one side, their engineers poured resources into solid-state batteries, aiming to leapfrog Tesla and every EV maker on Earth. On the other, they doubled down on something the industry was dismissing: hydrogen. While critics laughed at Toyota's fuel cell cars like the Mirai, Toyota kept refining the tech. Hydrogen promised instant refueling, long range, and zero tailpipe emissions. And while the infrastructure isn't there yet, Toyota's bet was simple. When the world realizes lithium supply chains can't support billions of EVs, hydrogen will suddenly look like the savior. In other words, Toyota isn't just planning for the next 5 years. They're planning for the next 50. This dual strategy means they're hedging their bets. If solid-state works, they dominate EVs. If hydrogen breaks through, they dominate that space too. Either way, they're preparing for a future where Tesla's single-path gamble could look dangerously risky. And here's the kicker. Recent leaks suggest Toyota may already have government partners lining up, eager to back their hydrogen push. If that's true, it could tilt the entire industry's balance overnight. On the surface, it looks like governments worldwide are pushing only one thing: battery EVs. Subsidies, tax breaks, charging infrastructure, all designed to make electric cars the default choice. But behind closed doors, whispers suggest something different. Some governments are starting to worry. Why? Because the global EV push has exposed 3 massive problems. Rare materials. Lithium, cobalt, and nickel supplies are finite, dominated by a handful of countries. The race for resources is already creating tension between nations. The grid. If millions of cars plug in at once, most countries' power infrastructure simply can't handle the surge. Blackouts aren't just a theory, they're a looming threat. Cost. Despite falling battery prices, EVs remain expensive, and governments can't subsidize them forever. This is where Toyota's strategy becomes more than just corporate ambition. It becomes a geopolitical weapon. Japan has already begun signaling support for Toyota's hydrogen and solid-state programs, framing them as a way to break dependence on Chinese lithium supply chains. Europe, facing its own energy crisis, is suddenly much more open to alternative zero-emission tech. And in the US, policymakers are quietly exploring incentives for hydrogen infrastructure. If even one of these regions throws serious money behind Toyota's projects, it won't just boost their market share. It could rewire the entire future of global transportation. And Elon Musk knows this. Because while Tesla is locked into the lithium-ion path, Toyota is playing 3 moves ahead, with the backing of governments who are getting nervous about betting everything on batteries. But here's the shocking part. Even with government backing, Toyota's road to dominance won't be easy. In fact, they're facing one problem that could either destroy their plans or turn them into the biggest automotive disruptor since Henry Ford. On paper, Toyota looks unstoppable. They've got solid-state batteries in the pipeline, a hydrogen program waiting in the wings, and government allies who want them to succeed. But there's a catch. Toyota's biggest obstacle isn't technology, it's time. Developing revolutionary tech is one thing. Scaling it for millions of cars is another. Tesla learned this the hard way during what Musk himself called production hell. Building a working prototype is easy compared to building a factory that can mass-produce it reliably and cheaply. And that's exactly where Toyota is most vulnerable. Solid-state batteries, despite their promise, are notoriously difficult to manufacture at scale. Even if Toyota's prototypes are as good as the leaks suggest, turning that into an affordable car for the average buyer will take billions of dollars, new factories, and years of trial and error. Hydrogen has its own problem: infrastructure. Right now, hydrogen fueling stations are rare, expensive, and geographically limited. Unless governments and private companies invest heavily in building networks, Toyota's hydrogen cars will remain niche. So the race isn't just about who has the best tech. It's about who can get it to market first, at scale, without going bankrupt in the process. And here's the irony. While Toyota struggles with these scaling challenges, Tesla already has what Toyota doesn't: massive production capacity, global charging networks, and millions of loyal customers. Which means this fight isn't as simple as Toyota wins, Tesla loses. It's a high-stakes gamble, where execution will decide the future of the entire industry. But here, where things get wild, Toyota may have already found a way to skip years of trial and error by teaming up with a partner nobody saw coming. Toyota has always been a giant in the auto world, but even giants know when they need backup. And that's exactly what makes their latest move so shocking. Instead of trying to win this fight alone, Toyota has quietly started forming alliances with companies that could fill the gaps in their strategy. For hydrogen, they've teamed up with energy giants in Japan and Europe, corporations with the money and infrastructure to roll out fueling stations at scale. These aren't small pilot projects. We're talking about multi-billion-dollar pipelines that could spread hydrogen pumps across major cities in under a decade. For solid-state, Toyota has entered partnerships with electronics companies who specialize in materials and miniaturization. Think about it. Toyota knows how to build cars, but companies like Panasonic, Samsung, and even Sony have decades of experience building batteries. Together, they could fast-track mass production in a way Tesla simply can't match. And here's the twist. Some insiders claim Toyota has even reached out to governments for exclusive contracts on future fleets, everything from taxis to delivery vans to military vehicles. If they lock those deals in before Tesla, it could guarantee Toyota's tech gets deployed first, no matter how good Tesla's batteries are. This is the kind of strategy that doesn't just compete, it corners the market. Tesla may have the brand and the head start, but Toyota is quietly building an ecosystem so large that it could box Tesla into a shrinking corner of the industry. But alliances and prototypes are one thing, public perception is another. And Toyota knows it needs more than tech and partners. It needs a story that captures the world's imagination. And that's where their boldest play yet comes in. Technology alone doesn't change the world. Public perception does. Tesla became a household name not just because of fast cars, but because Elon Musk turned the brand into a cultural movement. He made people believe they were part of something bigger, saving the planet, shaping the future, joining a revolution. Toyota knows this, and after years of being seen as the safe, boring car company, they're preparing to flip the script. Leaks suggest Toyota is planning to debut their first solid-state production car not as a bland sedan, but as something bold, futuristic, and unforgettable. The kind of vehicle that can capture headlines the way the first Tesla Roadster did. Even more shocking, Toyota is rumored to be working on public demonstrations designed to shatter the EV status quo. Imagine a car driving 700 miles on a single charge, then fully recharging in less time than it takes to drink a cup of coffee. If Toyota pulls that off on a live stage, every automaker in the world will feel the tremor. And here's the kicker, they won't just market it as a car, they'll sell it as freedom. Freedom from hours at charging stations. Freedom from rare earth dependency. Freedom from the idea that one company, or one country, controls the future of mobility. If Toyota nails this moment, they won't just be selling vehicles, they'll be selling the future itself. So what does this all mean? For decades, the auto industry has been a predictable battlefield. Tesla versus legacy automakers, EVs versus gas engines, batteries versus the past. But Toyota has just flipped the board. With solid-state batteries, hydrogen bets, government alliances, and a carefully crafted public story. They're not just trying to catch up to Tesla, they're aiming to leapfrog them entirely. Elon Musk once promised a world where everything runs on batteries. But if Toyota succeeds, the future may not belong to one man or one company. It may belong to whoever can build the boldest vision and make the world believe in it. And the real question now is whether Tesla can survive. It's whether the entire electric revolution has just been outmaneuvered. Because one thing is clear, the race for the future of mobility has only just begun.